everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Bleeding Metal podcast. My name is Kiki. I'm your host. My pronouns are she, her. And today I'm bringing you a new guest, a new voice, a new face. Thank you so much for joining me today. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Kiki. I'm Karina Coss. My pronouns are she, her, too. I'm a music journalist and a Mexican music journalist. I have been working as a freelancer for around maybe 20 years. But now I have been living here in Helsinki, Finland for around 2 years and a half. And I've been doing this more professionally.
Yes. And this is a new session of what I have named the Pod Friends series, which is where I bring my friends over to the podcast to talk about the awesome things that they do related to metal or not so related to metal. This time it is still very related to metal. And I have told you all about Kari before because I told the story of Helsinki Metal Festival a few months ago and how you and I had been following each other on Instagram for a few years, I think, but we finally got to meet up before Helsinki Metal Festival this year in August. And first we went to brunch and we started getting along really well. We just started talking. Now, it's funny because I tell my friends that as well. Every time that you and I meet, we start talking and we don't stop until we leave.
Yeah. And I remember the first time that I met you. I don't remember which Tuska edition was, but we all know that you are in this Tuska forum. And I was there as a fan because I used to live in Mexico and I traveled to Helsinki just to attend this festival every year. And I was so impressed about the work that you are doing in this podcast and this interview because for me it was a different way. It's more similar of the way that I think that the journalism has to be about how to approach rock music and the metal music, not just with this kind of interview of rock stars or metal stars, this similar kind of content.
Yeah.
And when I start to listen to metal, I was thinking, okay, they're going deeper. And that's why I was trying to go every year to this forum. And finally, this year, we can talk with each other. And it was really amazing. Let me tell to our audience now that I was talking with some of my friends here in Helsinki, and I was telling her like, okay, I went to my new friend Kiki, to the sauna in Finland. I don't know how to tell people about this experience, but for me it was like, I have so many friendships here, but we have this second date and we were to this sauna naked. So for me it was, right, I feel so comfortable to be with you talking about so many topics, and this experience was another level of friendship for me.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. It's also because I think that we clicked so well from the very beginning, from this very first time that we saw each other and started talking. And so that's why it was even possible, I think, to build a friendship super fast. And we started doing things together very often. Yeah, our talks also went very deep, very fast. And it's really nice because I feel like I have known you for years now because I know so much of your story. And it's only been a few months, actually. So yeah, it's really nice to have you on the podcast for that, to hear about your story because your life has been so interesting. And just to go a little deeper into what you're doing now before we go back to everything you have done and you have achieved before. For people who haven't put it all together just yet, you run the magazine Henki Press, and that is an online metal magazine in Spanish, and you write about your experiences in concerts and travels. Tell me about the name, first of all. How did Henki Press?
I was working in a digital media from a friend from Mexico. He named this magazine Berriku, means blood moon in Finnish. So I was like, it's a really good name, but it's taken. So I have to find another one for my own site. Yeah. And I have this idea on my mind of trying to find a word in Finnish to describe not just music, it's more like how to see the music deeper. Henki, I mean, if you go to the books and look for the meaning of this word, is more like a person, Henki, or a spirit.
Okay.
But this word came from the very, 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 very beginning of the language, of the Finnish language, like a breath. Henki is the first breath of your life at the last
Wow.
breath when you are not living more on earth. So it was kind of poetic, and for me, when you are watching your favorite band, like Henki, this emotion to go deeper, and when you are feeling the music the way I feel.
Mm-hmm. It's really beautiful.
And I chose that word. I was like, it's a really good name for this site. But now I'm trying to study Finnish properly,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand that the Finnish people use that word in common life, not with this
Okay.
philosophical view. It's more
Okay.
like Henki is a person,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like one person, Henkilo, or something like that.
Okay.
But the very beginning, it was that meaning of that word.
Got it. That's a new word that we have learned. And I'm so proud of you for all of the Finnish learning that you have done so far. And I am still at the very beginning of that myself.
We're gonna make it.
We are going to make it. As a fun fact, I set the goal for both of ourselves, for Kari and me, that in 2 years we will go to karaoke in Helsinki and we will sing
Yeah.
songs in Finnish.
Yeah. I was watching these videos on TikTok of people singing in Spanish,
Mhm.
like American people singing in Spanish because of this controversy about Bad Bunny singing in
Right.
in Super Bowl. I'm not into Bad Bunny, but it was like a huge movement on the social media, American people trying to sing in Spanish
Uh-huh.
just because they want to feel like in the mood for the Super Bowl. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to do the same with Finnish song, filming
Yeah.
myself trying to sing in the songs in Finnish because it's a good way to learn and practice the language.
Yes, yes. I also have been wanting to watch the Moomins in Finnish
Yo.
with subtitles so that yo.
Yo.
So that I can understand them, so that I can learn like kids learn, with easy words and sentences, because Finnish is very, very difficult for anyone out there who hasn't tried to learn it. It has, as we say in German, no, it's probably more of a Spanish thing that I have translated to German throughout the years. No tiene pies ni cabeza. It doesn't have heads and it doesn't have feet. There's no logic to it. Maybe that's what the phrase means, but there is actually a logic. It's just a logic that is not related to any of the languages that I know. So anyway, it's the challenge for the next 2 years. We will make it. But
Yeah.
before we talk about Bad Bunny, because I'm absolutely gonna go there. Let us tell a little bit more of your upbringing, because if you out there are a listener and a long-time listener from the podcast, you know that I was born and grew up in Quito, the capital of Ecuador. And so I'm a Latina that came to Europe, and that's what we have in common. Kari, you were born and raised in Mexico City, right?
Yes, I was born and raised in Mexico City. And I think we get along because we have this kind of same background. We were talking about my struggling with speaking in other languages and why this education in my country is a very difficult topic to talk about. And yes, I was born and raised in Mexico City, and I had been a music lover for all my whole life. I was raised with Pink Floyd music at home, Black Sabbath music, because the music taste of my dad was that kind of taste. So in Mexico it was not common to listen metal. But when I started to listen music, I started not with metal, I started with pop music. Actually, I was a huge, hardcore Backstreet Boys fan. But then I opened my eyes to rock music through Finnish music. Finnish metal music, for me, is like more melancholic. I don't know, it's not like Metallica, for example.
Right.
So for me, it was the soft way to enter in this metal world. He really liked to go to concerts. And that is my perfect way of to go concert after concert, because I really
Yes.
love the live music.
Yeah, live music experience is a completely different thing. There have been studies about that. It's really interesting to me how you grew up with Pink Floyd and Black Sabbath. My parents at home, we did listen to, say, the Beatles from time to time, but it was mostly Latin American music, or at least Spanish-speaking Hispanic music. So before I was a fan of the Spice Girls and the Backstreet Boys, for example, at those around the same times, I listened to a lot of Mexican and Latin American pop music. Like there was a lot of Faye. And even before that, my mom listened to Lucero and Juan Gabriel and all of those pop stars. But I'm guessing you listen to them
Yeah.
too.
Yes, of course, I'm a Mexican and I love Juan Gabriel too, for example. But yes, at home, I mean, my mom listen Juan Gabriel and this kind of Mexican.
Selena.
Yes, yes. But my dad was more like this rocker at home, and my sister is more like breathe indie rock music. So music has been my refuge for too many phases of my life and different genres maybe.
Yeah. So how did you start listening to heavier music? Which were the bands that were your gateway?
I remember that I was in the high school and I started to listen Evanescence. And for me, it was the heavier. Like, oh my God, this girl is so dark. So I switched to Evanescence and was like, probably in my mind, like, oh my God, this is so deep. But yes, it was soft rock, like the Rasmus, for example, the Finnish band, the Rasmus. Not really heavy, not really heavy. I consider myself more like a metalcore fan, not like this true metal, death metal, black metal, not really. Then I have to say that him, this band from Finland, some people know me because of him. In Mexico, I was running even a fan club. So that kind of fan I am, like always knowing more about the band, going to too many concerts of the same tour. So yes, my favorite band for the all time is him. I'm from Villevalo as a singer, a solo singer.
Right. I was going to ask you what came first, metal or journalism, but I'm guessing that's the order of things. Metal came first. And how did you enter into journalism?
When I was like maybe 15 years old, 15, I used to think myself as a writer. I wanted to do a future as a writer of novels or something. And I remember that, we have this kind of teacher that we will never forget because they told us some advice or something.
Yeah.
And I remember this teacher in specific that moment when she told me that, you know what, you could be a good journalist. And I was like, why? But I took that. I took that word and I started to study journalism, but not music journalism, just journalism in general. Well, in Mexico, it's really different. It's a really good topic to talk about the difference, about how can you work as a journalist in Mexico, in Latin America. Being a journalist is dangerous.
Yeah.
So I started to work in this hard news journalism. In a radio station, some magazines like Politics and this kind of journalism. But I always wanted to write about music. So I made my own. I think the first one was this Photolog. So I don't remember the name. It was MySpace and this kind of social media back in the days. It was something named like Metroflog or Photolog. I don't remember now. But I started to write about the concerts I attended as a hobby. Then I started to do it in a blog and WordPress. And this has been my hobby for maybe 20 years. And when I came to live to Finland, I started to see that I can do this in a professional way,
Yes.
I'm a photographer, concert photographer, but I consider myself as an amateur photographer. But Finland has given me too many opportunities to explore this side of my dream, to take pictures in the festival, to take pictures in different gigs, because here there are gigs like every day. So I can go to take a picture, to write about it, and I'm living my dream here, like doing
Yes.
what I always wanted to do. I'm very happy about that. I'm very grateful about this opportunity that I'm living this way here in
Living the
Helsinki.
dream. Hell
Yes,
yeah.
finally.
Hell yeah. That makes me so happy. And it's so cool to be able to do that together.
Yes.
We need to go to more and more concerts together. Just a specific interest that we share can connect us so deeply. And then we get to know other aspects of each other and other commonalities that we have. So you were telling your story about how you went into listening to heavy metal or heavier music and then later into journalism, and it's like my life story as well. It's super funny because I also listen to a lot of pop and then a little, like, I don't know, pop punk maybe, like, Blink 182, also
Green Day.
alternative, like, yes, of course, Green Day, but also alternative like Creed and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Cubas, all those. And then the moment I listened to Evanescence for the first time, it blew my mind and I was like, okay, I want to do that. But my I want to do that was I want to sing that. And through my wanting to be a singer in metal or heavy music, that's why I went into journalism and communications, because I also wanted to, to have like a real
Yeah.
job. And I started looking into radio. So I did not consider myself a writer. That's the difference.
Mm,
I was like, oh, I can speak. I can talk to people. Why not? I
yes.
can make a professional out of this. I did not study journalism. I studied musicology, but also because I wanted to do music journalism.
Yeah. I think we
Different
found our ways
roads.
to approach music in a professional way of living.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. From how I know you and the work that you do that I have seen and the stories that you have told me, I think that you approach your work with very high professional standards, which was also, for me, has also always been a very high priority. I want the podcast to sound good. I want the YouTube videos to look good. I want my Twitch stream to run smoothly. I want to be able to compete with other media, with huge media. We just try to keep improving and taking what we do to the next level.
Yes, I think I have always on mind like doing things properly.
Mhm.
I'm running this site myself. I'm the only one writer, the only one reporter, and the only one photographer now because it's hard to work in this huge industry as a freelancer. But
Mhm.
as long as you have this vision of do the thing that you wanted to publish, is okay. For example, yesterday I attended a book release
Mhm.
and I was writing about it. And today I was reading like for 10th time,
Mhm.
looking for any mistake or something because
Mhm.
I know that now this world is always looking for numbers. But for
Mhm.
me, it's not about numbers. If I have 1 or 10 readers, I want to give them good content and something different. So I'm not a singer. I'm not a podcaster either. But I like to use these chances to make different things.
Yes.
This is the good side of the social media. Like we can do this kind of stuff with a mic in your home
Mhm.
with a computer. And
Mhm.
we don't need to, back in the days, I wanted to work in traditional media, no? But now it's not necessary to go to that places to do what you want to do.
Right. Right. Very true. And that way we make our own roads. That takes me to another thing that you do very well is to stay informed. I am not as well informed. I miss a lot of the things. And luckily, there are people like Kari and influencers as well on Instagram, for example, how we found out about Nothing More, about Johnny Hawkins and what he said a few weeks ago, which led to our decision not to publish the the Tuska Forum episode that we had with the band. Those kinds of things. Some would say the gossip of the metal scene, especially. And you are always very well informed, and so I can find out about things from you, which is super cool. It's super entertaining to hear you retell those stories.
Yes. I remember when we talk about this section of the podcast of chismetal, which is a word in Spanish, not really a word, it's like a mixing of two words, of course, metal, but chisme, like is gossip about something. So we have this chismeta, like gossip about this topic around some specific viral new or something, because we can always go deeper in the information, and I really love to go deeper, searching for more in the on the internet.
I'm the same. I always want to know, for example, I want to know the lives of the musicians that sing stuff that I find so relatable. I want to find out where they are, where did they come from, why are they singing what they're singing, that type of thing. But it's also sometimes interesting to see those people that we sometimes put on pedestals, to see them as humans that are also making mistakes, that are also having fights, that are also not perfect, just like us.
And yes, this is another way to see your idol. For example, for me, I'm a fanatic of everything. I think like I always trying to look the human side of the artist that I like. I like to know more, because it's good to know this juicy information.
And it is information, and that is the thing, because gossip as a concept, it has this negative connotation, something you shouldn't do. You shouldn't talk gossip. You shouldn't speak about other people and stuff like that. And just in recent years, I have actually come to terms with me kind of liking gossip, or liking to gossip, because I learned about the origins of gossip. So back in the in the very beginnings of human history, gossip was how communities bonded, how humans bonded and stood together, how they built tribes, and how they also passed information about predators or dangers. So gossip was vital for survival. And just earlier today, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, big recommend. The podcast is named Ologies by Ali Ward, and Ali was saying history is just gossip that matters. And that is so true, because we all know about oral history, right? So before we started, we as humans, as humankind, before people started writing things down and that became history, people were talking about it. Oral history was a thing, and that was basically gossip. So I do like to bond through gossip with friends, and I do like to stay informed and to find out more. So things that you and I, Kari, were talking as metal, as metal gossip in the past months, was the history of Children of Bodom. I had never gotten their story and their origin told to me like that, or actually like understood it. And then we also had the Cradle of Filth band debacle split. We also talked about that. And so when we talk about gossip, it's not speaking negatively about a person. It's just about exchanging things that we have found out, things that we want the other person to know.
It's not like talking about people in a wrong way. It's more like putting the table some important topic, since you heard something about a band or a artist, whatever, and we can talk and we can chat about this, because we have our own opinion, and it's always good to have an opinion and change this different way to see the same topic. So for me, that kind of gossip is really good, because you can even know deeper the other person, because the way they think about the same topic. Earlier, I was talking about the book released yesterday. It was a book about him and Bilbao. And today I was reading the newspaper. The Helsinki Sanomat is one of the main newspaper here in Finland, Helsinki. They were the new about this book, and I think it's a really good topic to talk about, because this book is about Villavalo and the way he was the leader of the band,
Mhm.
and some accusations about his behavior,
Mm.
like very controlled, this bossing and no hearing everyone opinions about his
Okay.
work. So I was thinking like, I want to talk with anyone about this because I know that I'm a fan of this man. He's not answered or talking about his own version,
Mhm.
but we have new topics to talk about this toxic environment in the music industry,
Mhm.
like the roles in a band, like who is the leader, who made the band bigger, and
Mhm.
where is the other person playing there, So
Yeah.
for me, like, I want to know more about this topic as a fan and as a chismosa. Like,
Hell yeah. As a gossip
yes,
enthusiast.
yes, yes, yes. For example, this controversy about Marilyn Manson is a really important thing to put in the
Yeah.
table. Like, talk
Yeah.
about patriarchy and feminism and
Mhm.
the fake accusations, because
Mm.
this is the way that some people justify the behavior of this singer, for example. So I think we have too many topics to talk about deeper, not just like as a gossip, but it could be
Yes.
interesting.
Yes. So we may or may not be working on our own podcast.
No,
It might be in Spanish. And
easier for me.
we might be gossiping a lot about everything that's happening in the metal community, because the concept of gossip, it has this negative connotation. And so there are only a few outlets and a few formats on the internet that are actually gossip sites in the metal scene. And even less are made by women, because gossip as a concept is also a very gendered thing. Because gossip is a very female thing. It is a bad thing that bad women do, kind of. It's even funny when a man is actually partaking in gossip. It's like this very special thing. It's not recognized as such, maybe. I know of a few YouTube channels where, content creators,
Mhm.
YouTube
Yeah.
content creators are just spreading gossip. And some of them are very, very deep in the business, and they are giving us a little bit of insight from behind the scenes on those accusations or on things that are happening. But it's triggered by gossip, and it's not seen that way. So I would be very interested what kind of a reaction we have if we go very, not aggressively, but very proactively saying, okay, we're going to talk about some gossip.
Yes, because as you say, some men do that, is like celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
But as a woman, it's something that you have to do because women just do that, gossip about other girls. Yes, so yes, it's really interesting to claim or write to gossip about everything we want to talk about because it's all right.
I love that. I hadn't thought about it like that. We are reclaiming gossip as a feminist act of rebellion in metal.
Yes, yes. Yeah, because we have this kind of content creators of this metal scene. Like, you have to be some specific way to talk about metal as women. You have to look in a very specific way. Like, you have to talk like, I don't know how to say it, but I think we can be more than the same content that we already have been watching for all this year.
Yes, exactly. So we know where we're up against, and we know what we want to convey, and the messages we want to transport that are, as always, very diverse, inclusive, very empowering. And those are the values that we also share and that we want to transport and to give the world with our conversations. That reaches the end of our conversation for today. I think it's a very nice note to end on, to tell everyone out there to stay rebellious.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes. So thank you so much, Kiki, for having me. I really appreciate it because you know that we have been chatting about this and other challenges in our life. And it's really comfortable to be with someone like you in this chat and in this live and in this way that we are sharing now.
Yeah, thank you, Kari. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to have you on the podcast. And we almost forgot to talk about Bad Bunny. I think
Yes, we have to. We have to.
we have to. We have to dedicate 1 minute to Bad Bunny. I think it's awesome that he's playing the Super Bowl. I think his music is very much underrated. It's misjudged because reggaeton is supposed to be like this sexualized thing, nothing serious, but then he's making really good beats, really good music, and then especially the latest album, if I'm not mistaken, that's the latest. But the album speaks about a lot about different injustices in Latin America. It speaks a lot about the history of Puerto Rico. It's very political, very philosophical as well, all of his lyrics in that album at least, and doing great work, drawing attention to really important topics in his community. And to give him this huge platform and amplify that voice and those stories that need to be heard, I think it's going to be awesome.
Yes, I think too. I was this lady that was like, oh, Bad Bunny. But that was back in the days, and I actually met a friend from Mexico who is living here in Finland too that told me about Bad Bunny in this philosophical way. Like, look and listen what he's singing, because he's singing about, oh, yes, we have this song to dance and to move the body or whatever, but he sing about other topics, and especially this last album is really, really, really interesting. The way he's talking about the problems in his hometown and this huge cultural movement that living now American people getting angry because this, I think Donald Trump said something about he's Mexican or because he didn't know Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican.
And so, as a US citizen.
Yes. And it's funny to see. Funny, but that kind of funny that made you feel
Cringe.
sad and cringe. People saying that Puerto Rico is not America. We are facing this racist speech from one of the most important leaders of the world. And to see this phenomenon, this Bad Bunny, is really interesting to see. So yes, I'm excited to see what happened next in this Super Bowl midtime.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Kari. Thanks everyone out there for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the Bleeding Metal podcast wherever you listen so that you don't miss an episode. I will have more of my friends on the podcast. Also, don't forget to watch our episodes on YouTube. All of the links are on linktree/bleedingmetalpod. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.